It was Friday afternoon, and Emily sat at her desk, her eyes fixed on the computer screen, but her mind already miles away. The bustling office around her seemed to fade into the background as she contemplated the long-awaited weekend ahead. After a week filled with relentless deadlines and seemingly endless meetings, all she craved was rest and rejuvenation. Emily worked in a high-pressure corporate environment, juggling multiple projects and client demands that often left her feeling drained and overwhelmed. As she attempted to focus on the last few tasks of the day, her phone buzzed incessantly with notifications. She glanced at it briefly, seeing messages from colleagues about last-minute requests and reminders about Monday's meetings. With a sigh, she turned the phone face down, choosing instead to lose herself in thoughts of the weekend. A precious time when she could finally dedicate herself to her own needs and desires. The clock ticked slowly towards 5 p.m., and Emily found herself daydreaming about the possibilities that lay ahead. Would she finally start that book she'd been meaning to read? Perhaps she'd try out that new yoga studio down the street? Or maybe she'd just allow herself the luxury of sleeping in and doing absolutely nothing. The thought brought a small smile to her face, a rare occurrence in recent weeks. ## Friday evening. As the workday finally came to a close, Emily breathed a sigh of relief. She packed up her belongings, bid farewell to her coworkers, and stepped out into the cool evening air. The commute home felt longer than usual, the weight of the week still heavy on her shoulders. Arriving home around 6 p.m., Emily immediately changed out of her work attire into a comfortable set of sweats. The simple act of shedding her professional persona felt liberating. She sank into her plush sofa, taking a moment to gaze out the window as the sky began to darken. The tension of the week was still palpable in her shoulders and neck. "What should I do tonight?" she wondered aloud. Her friends had invited her to a happy hour at a trendy new bar downtown, but the mere thought of socializing in a crowded, noisy environment seemed exhausting. After a brief internal debate, Emily decided that a quiet night at home would be the best medicine for her weary soul. She reached for her tablet, opening the Netflix app in search of something light and entertaining. After scrolling through countless options, she settled on a comedy that seemed cheerful enough to lift her spirits without requiring too much mental engagement. As the movie played, Emily found herself chuckling at the witty dialogue and absurd situations. However, beneath the surface amusement, she couldn't shake a nagging sense of discontent. Even in the comfort of her own home, surrounded by silence, there was an underlying restlessness she couldn't quite shake. Small workplace conflicts and daily pressures lingered in her mind, and the feeling of being trapped in a monotonous routine became more pronounced. Emily realized that while she enjoyed her job most of the time, the constant stress and lack of work-life balance were taking their toll. As hunger set in, Emily decided to treat herself to her favorite pizza, a small one topped with cheese and an assortment of colorful vegetables. While waiting for the delivery, she checked her phone. Several unread messages greeted her, including one from her mother asking if she was doing all right and another from Sarah, her best friend, inquiring about their plans for Saturday. Emily responded briefly, promising her mother she was fine and confirming her meetup with Sarah. She then lost herself in another episode of her favorite series, trying to push away the lingering thoughts of work and responsibilities. Around 10 p.m., fatigue began to set in. Emily went through her nightly routine, brushing her teeth and preparing for bed. As she lay in the darkness, staring at the ceiling, a feeling of mild dissatisfaction washed over her. Lately, she had been drawn more and more to isolation, and she wondered if this was a healthy pattern. The weekend stretched before her, filled with potential, yet she felt oddly disconnected from it all. ## Saturday morning. Saturday dawned bright and clear, with Emily waking up around 9 a.m., feeling slightly more rested than the night before. She had always enjoyed starting her weekends at a leisurely pace, so she took her time preparing breakfast. A steaming cup of coffee, toast with butter and jam, and a small bowl of fresh berries. Sitting at her kitchen table, she savored each bite, allowing herself to fully enjoy this moment of tranquility. After breakfast, Emily found herself scrolling through social media on her phone. Photos of friends traveling, enjoying exciting activities, and seemingly living life to the fullest filled her feed. A twinge of envy crept into her heart as she examined a photo of a former college classmate on an exotic beach vacation. "Am I wasting my time?" she wondered, the question hanging heavily in the air of her quiet apartment. Though Emily appreciated her calm weekends, she began to question her lifestyle choices. Over the past few months, she had noticed herself becoming increasingly entrenched in a comfort zone that offered little in the way of new experiences or personal growth. The need for something fresh and exciting tugged at her, but she felt unsure of where to begin. Her friend Sarah had suggested several times that they take a trip together or try a new hobby, but Emily had always postponed, claiming she lacked the time or energy. Determined to shake off her lethargy, Emily laced up her running shoes and headed to the nearby park. The morning sun cast a warm glow over the landscape, and the fresh air in the park brought a sense of freedom she hadn't realized she'd been missing. As she walked along the paths, observing couples with their dogs and children playing on the playgrounds, she recognized how beneficial these small moments outside her apartment could be for her mental well-being. "Maybe I need this more often," she reflected, allowing the sounds of nature to replace her incessant thoughts about work and routine. ## Saturday afternoon. Around 1 p.m., Emily decided to venture out to the local shopping center. She had a few items to purchase, but she also saw it as an opportunity to clear her head and possibly find inspiration for change. As she wandered through the stores, she picked up some fresh fruits, artisanal bread, and a new book titled Reinvention, Starting Anew. The title intrigued her, especially after her reflective morning walk. Following a light lunch of grilled chicken salad at a cafe in the mall, Emily boarded a bus to Sarah's house. It had been a month since they last saw each other, and Emily felt the visit was more necessary than ever. Upon arrival, Sarah greeted her with a warm embrace. The apartment was impeccably decorated, exuding a welcoming atmosphere that Emily always admired. "You seem thoughtful today," Sarah observed as she prepared tea in the kitchen. Emily hesitated before responding with a wistful smile. "I've been feeling tired, not physically but mentally. The routine is getting to me." Sarah, ever the optimist, attempted to lift her spirits. "We all go through phases like that. But maybe it's time to try something new, Em. How about a trip? Or we could finally take that cooking class you're always talking about." The two spent the afternoon discussing possible plans to break the monotony. Sarah suggested they take a trip together next month, and Emily, though hesitant, promised to consider it. They watched a romantic comedy, laughing at the cliché situations and commenting on how things might be different in real life. As 6 p.m. approached, Emily bid farewell to Sarah, feeling lighter but still pondering her friend's words. Maybe it really is time to change something, she thought as she made her way home. ## Saturday evening. Emily arrived home at 7 p.m. and drew herself a hot bath to unwind. As she soaked in the warm water, Sarah's words continued to echo in her mind. The idea of changing her routine both excited and frightened her. Emily appreciated stability, but she feared it might be holding her back from personal growth. After her bath, she prepared a simple dinner of pasta with tomato sauce and a side salad. Post-dinner, she curled up on the sofa with her new book. The opening pages were captivating, and Emily found herself engrossed in stories of people who had taken courageous steps to reinvent their lives. "If they could do it, why can't I?" she pondered. As the night progressed, Emily jotted down ideas in a notebook. They ranged from small changes like trying a new hobby to more significant ones like changing jobs or planning a solo trip. The act of writing these ideas down made them feel more tangible, and for the first time in a long while, Emily felt hopeful about the future. ## Sunday morning. Sunday morning saw Emily waking up early at 8 a.m., feeling unexpectedly energized. She decided to channel this energy into a workout at the local gym. The exercise helped clear her mind and organize her thoughts. As she ran on the treadmill, she reflected on her conversations with Sarah and the pages she had read the night before. Perhaps it was time to take action, to step out of her comfort zone and embrace new challenges. After an invigorating workout, Emily treated herself to breakfast at her favorite cafe. As she savored her pancakes and coffee, she gazed out the window, observing people going about their Sunday routines. A new sense of purpose began to take shape in her mind. Instead of merely dreaming about changes, she realized it was time to start taking concrete steps, no matter how small. ## Sunday afternoon and evening. Emily spent the afternoon with her parents, enjoying a home-cooked meal and catching up on family news. She shared some of her thoughts about making changes in her life, and her parents offered encouragement and support. Their belief in her ability to adapt and grow reinforced Emily's determination to take action. Back at home, Emily began to plan her week differently. Alongside her work tasks, she included small personal goals, research photography courses, plan a weekend getaway, read more about career changes. As she wrote these down, she felt a spark of excitement she hadn't experienced in months. In the evening, Emily prepared a light dinner and watched another episode of her favorite series, but her mind was elsewhere. The ideas about her future now seemed more tangible and achievable. Before bed, she reviewed her notes and smiled, knowing that for the first time in a long time, she was truly ready for change. As she drifted off to sleep, Emily felt a sense of anticipation for the week ahead. She knew that change wouldn't happen overnight, but she was committed to taking those first crucial steps. The weekend had been a journey of self-reflection and discovery, and Emily was determined to carry this newfound energy and purpose into her daily life. The future, once a source of anxiety, now held the promise of exciting possibilities and personal growth.